Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays, so called because it's Star Wars setting and I'm running it on Saturdays. I'm prosaic that way. We are kicking off a series of Rust Hulks. Rust Hulks is a Powered by the Apocalypse game about star freighter crews, and it's originally set in a solar system like our solar system, but I've Star Warsified it just a little bit. It's a really cool game with some fascinating and complex relationship mechanics and some of my favorite sets of rules for how a job works. It's really well made. I like it a lot. So we are kicking this off. And the way that the game works is that everybody they choose a playbook, create their crew member. We have a few returning characters from other Star Wars Saturdays games. We have some new folks. It's very exciting. They are already an established freighter crew, but the players will be introducing their characters for the first time to each other. And then we create their relationships between each other. And once that's done, we work on the starship. So be prepared to see some silly Google drawings going on. It's going to be fun. The game was originally written with the idea that you're playing at a table. So you're supposed to draw the ship, but we're using Google drawings. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. We do have some safety tools that I want to highlight for everyone. The safety tools that I've chosen to use and offer to the table are lines and veils. Lines are, this is a line we don't cross. We're not interested in this in our fiction. Veils are, we're okay if this exists as an aspect of our story, but we don't want to shine a light on it. We'll star wipe away or fade to black if that particular instance comes up. And then the last one is ask first. It's one that I've stuck in because it's situational, right? It's a thing where check in, the players and I will check in with each other as people before we drop it into our fiction and it becomes a thing we have to deal with. Because sometimes situationally a thing is totally cool and sometimes it's not. I've stuck in midichlorians, right? I just do that now because some people get tweaked about midichlorians and don't love it existing in their Star. That's hashtag not my Star Wars. And I'd rather have it as a ask first to check in. And if you do check in and someone's like, can you try it a different way? Do respect that. And if you're like, oh, that's the only idea I had, check in with the rest of the table. Promise you someone will have some cool suggestions. And don't worry about it. If you feel stymied, we're not on the clock here. I mean, we're on the clock, but we're not on the clock. You know what I mean. We got 4 sessions. We'll figure it out. The last piece that I want to make sure everybody knows is we have the X card, which means you didn't realize this would come up, or you probably would have stuck it in lines and veils or asked first or something. But if something that tweaks you, causes you to be uncomfortable, if you're considering, oh, this is not the kind of game that I thought that I was in, or whatever reason, something recently happened, so it just hits you wrong and you feel like you're about to withdraw, you're really not having fun, please use the X card. I've never had it played at a table that I was at that it didn't help the game become better. It's not a block at all. So you X card, I may ask you what you were X carding if it's not clear to me, but you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain why. It's probably enough. Like for me, the 1 or 2 times I've played an X card, it was stressful enough to just be the person to quote unquote stop the fun, but you're not. Don't let that invade your mind. What you're doing is making sure we're all having fun, right? That's your tool. I want you to use it. I encourage you to do so. And then the last thing I'll say about X card, if something happens, you're like, oh, that didn't feel good, but you choose not to X card right away because you think, oh, it's fine, I'll let it pass. And then 3-5 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, they keep doing the thing with that cousin Larry, and that's really bothering me because of X or Y reason. You can still X card, okay? We can retcon. If Disney can shear off all of Star Wars canon except what's the movies, we can retcon whatever the hell we want. So feel free to X card. And don't worry about the fact that, oh, well, we established it before and it didn't X card, or don't worry about it. It's okay. It's bothering you now. That's what matters now. We deal with it that way. So with all of my preamble, out of the way, what I'd like to do is work from the right-hand side of our character keeper where we have our characters, and have each of you introduce yourself and then tell us a bit about your character. We'll go from right to left, and once all the players and characters are introduced, we'll stay on the left-hand side and start working out relationships between. And we're going to have relationships between all 4 characters. So you'll have 3 different relationships that will have different tenses, types, and we'll work that out together. So, which means, Will, you get to go first. See, I cleverly stuck your name from far right, knowing I was going to make you go first. It's evil. How far ahead I planned this.
Okay, and here I thought it was just alphabetical. Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him. I am playing a returning character. Anyone who's watched a series of Hook Cartel might recognize Inez, the Twi'lek. And in Rust Hook, she is playing the runner, which is kind of the rogue, the scoundrel of the group. And it's a fitting title because Inez is running. Inez is running from a former employees, a former enemies in Black Sun, her former lover, who may or may not have ties to the New Republic. Who knows, right? But Inez is on the run, and this bucket of bolts is a good place to lie low, let the heat lay down. And, you know, she always has skills that can be put to use and an eye for the advantage.
She does indeed. She also has a really cool accent, and I can't wait to hear you do it some more. I've missed
remember what it is, frankly.
I don't know what it is. It's Inez. Yeah. It's the Inez accent, and I love it. That's all it needs to be. Josh, you are up next. If you could introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your character.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Josh, he, him, his, and I am playing Tufan Bendo, better known as Bendy Bendo. Tufan is a Ithorian, and he is a junker. He is not a returning character. I made him up right now, a little bit ago. He was raised on a herd ship floating above the Ithorian home planet, and he did not fit in very well, so he left at a young age on a cultural exchange program to be educated in the corporate space, where he found that he fit in a lot better. He was a very talented, somewhat eclectic engineer, and that has led him to this ship where he exists as a sort of repairman presence, useful to have around, but an interesting guy, right? He is not. I think that a lot of people have expectations around Ithorians that he both satisfies in a lot of ways. You know, he's a very gentle, very tall, very smart fella with a big bendy neck, but he doesn't love nature. He doesn't love the jungle. He's not religiously Ithorian, you wouldn't say, which is a very important part of Ithorian culture. So it leads to some, you know, he prefers to sort of live in his little shed with his nuts and his bolts, doing his own little experiments.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this. Thank you, Josh, so much. Cisco, you're up. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hello, my name is Francisco. I go by Cisco on the Gauntlet. My pronouns are he, him. I am playing Talon Gendro, also pronouns he, him. He is equal parts Han Solo, P.T. Barnum, and Clawhauser, the chonky cheetah that runs the front of the police station from Zootopia, if you're familiar with that. He is an X-twin pod cloud car racer, but he has done it all. He has also previously been into bounty hunting. He has been a stage manager and a thespian on a space cruiser. And last we saw Talon Gendro, he is also a returning character. He was escaping a woman who he was going to marry, who it turned out was an assassin. sent to hire him, and so he had to give up his life on the stage and on the lights. He had to give up his dream to be on the run once again. And so he is out here driving a big old space truck with his crew now.
So sad. Why did that assassin have to ruin everything?
He is
it.
also the quintessential extrovert, and so he's probably looking at Bendo going like, this seems like a new friend like I should adopt. He seems sad in the back of the ship.
Meanwhile, he's perfectly happy with all his nuts and bolts. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Cisco. Alan, you are up next. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your
Hello,
character.
my name is Alan. I use he, him, as does Demak Ovel, the obligatory human member of the crew, or at least near human. I don't know where he comes from. I think he's probably been brought up in a number of different places and managed to escape them. I've given him an underworld history. I'm curious whether he knows anything about Inez. He dresses to reinforce authority and to impress, with that neat combination of a stern demeanor but warm eyes. So he can play hard, he can play soft, and he's very nicely put together for a human. He's an attractive individual, and I think that he's the envoy. I'm taking the envoy playbook. I think he's the face. And in fact, I've taken Boundless Grace to boost my face characteristic by 1. And he's in this to make enough money to do better, because this cannot be enough. This bunch of misfits.
All right. That is good. We've got some really interesting tones going on here. This is going to be a fun mix. Okay. Now, we're going to follow the game starts, which means that we're going to add dedicated rooms now, because that's step 4 after introducing yourself. So, Alan, I'll start calling you Dimak. Let's go ahead and look on your character sheet for the envoy, and let's talk about adding your dedicated room.
Well, I think we've got somewhere to put it, because my dedicated room is a small shuttle.
Okay.
Decked out with stuff I need: clothes, finery, a big desk, a safe, a little table, and a couple of chairs for me to serve drinks. It's what I need to do the job I do.
Okay. So if you want, we could easily just do a shuttle, maybe. Somebody had created a shuttle once before, and I can't remember.
I was going to go with a straight triangle.
All right, triangle sounds good. So you just draw that off like here if you want, and then we know that that's your shuttle.
Did we just get a ship?
Yeah, you guys have a ship.
Oh yes, that's
you guys have a ship.
When can I just be clear? When you say "did we just get a ship," I think you may have misunderstood.
Someone's angling for captain. It sounds
fair.
Cool, and then we'll just call this D-Mox.
Now, do we think the shuttle docks inside the ship, or do we think the shuttle is like docked to the outside, the exterior of the ship?
What do you think?
We have a garage, don't we?
You do.
And so if that's not where it is, I think that's where where it docks.
I think I'm going to add a text box because that's looking weird.
Why don't we? But it's when we put on the text box wherever. You need to group them, right? I guess is a thing you can do that.
Need to what?
Group them.
Group them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is there's something behind it, so we'll do some moving around. We'll it's fine. We'll figure it out. Cool. That's your dedicated room. That sounds awesome. Let's jump next then to Talon. You get a dedicated room as our jockey. What's your dedicated room, jockey?
I
Looks like the helm size increases by 1 to a maximum of +3, and then you get to choose some stuff. Either the hull increases, ship gains a small cargo hold, ship gains small bunks.
So where can I find that list of choices? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I will just drop it over here. Here you go.
Okay.
There's the list. It's
It's
in the jockey thing. But yeah,
okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking for like a tab that we all choose from. Okay.
It's all good. It's all the dedicated room stuff is actually on the PDF for everybody. But yeah, that's what you get.
Okay, we're gonna do small bunks.
Small bunks is nice. All right, so
I like big bunks, and I cannot lie, but we will get small bunks. And I will have my own dedicated bunk, which most of it will be dedicated to my loincloth collection, which is prodigious and large.
Okay. That's very cool. Your helm size increases by 1. It starts off as a 1, so it's a 2, and you get bunks. Do you have a particular place where you think the bunks are located? Do you want to I do have this pre-formatted, so is that good, or do you want to stick the bunk somewhere else?
Yeah, I'd like to put my bunk near the helm. Makes sense since I'm the pilot.
Okay, so the flight deck's here. Do you think then your bunk is this little here? Would you say that's it?
Yeah.
All right,
that sounds good.
Sweet. You just like a trucker, you just sleep right there, and you never go far unless you're going to go to the mess hall, I guess.
Indeed.
Awesome. Good work. Next up is our Thorian friend, Bendy Bendo. Let's see. As a junker, what's your dedicated room?
Well, as a junker, I get to just do whatever I want. I get
any two rooms of your choice plus 1
choice.
size. Nice.
So I'm going to say that we have a small bolt hole.
Good call.
And I'm also going to say that we have some interesting modifications in the engine room.
Nice.
Just in case it's of any consequence, we'll already have a size +1 set of bolt holes because that's my dedicated room.
Oh, I see.
So I guess that would then make them plus size 2 bolt holes. I'm just not sure whether, you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Well, do I want +2 bolt holes or do I want a different thing? I'm happy saying that we have some hidey holes.
Lots of hidey holes. Looks like smugglers.
Yeah. There's a lot of empty space on this ship,
There is.
Places to hide things.
So Josh, I'm really curious, where is the bolt hole that you, the junker, have placed? You've built this bolt hole. Where is it?
Yeah. Well,
stick a little hole on the ship.
Of course. Well, I think that it is actually next to the engine room where I've been doing my modifications. See, there is a cavity that has used to store tools, which have just sort of been like lumped in the pile in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's just some empty space. It's not comfortable, certainly, but you could fit either some cargo that you didn't want anyone looking for, or maybe a person if they were quiet and you had someone to bring them food.
It's awesome. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it gets very hot, so nothing that you don't want to spoil, but you couldn't hide milk there.
Nice. Can't hide milk there. All right, so we'll just we'll label this real quick as Bendo's bolt hole, mostly because I like the alliteration of it, and then I'll make the font to where we can actually see it. All right, fun. Okay, cool. And then, as you said before, for Inez, your dedicated room is ship gets small size +1 set of bolt holes. So we're going to end up going to bolt hole 2.
And it says bolt holes, plural.
Yeah.
Because the way I imagine, I always imagine these bolt holes is that Bendo's got his own, retrofitted area that he's, should contain a bunch of like machinery, right? But he's rewired it all so that it all now lives like, in a smaller area above the deck rather than below it, like it should do. But Inez knows that it's always good to have a blaster or a knife or a stash of credits or something just always to hand, no matter where you are. And so I was wondering if I could add like maybe 3 little bolt holes around the ship.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Let me move that and make them smaller to represent it.
Oh, that text is not going to survive. That's fine.
No, the text will just disappear, I think, because we can just take the small circles as bolt holes, right? Because they're only little ones, basically.
We'll make them different colors so that we can differentiate between bendos and.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's do that now, and I'll make it. I mean, I think there's definitely one in the bunk room, right?
Sure.
Has to be. And then we do office.
I love we're now
lounge.
on version 3.0 of D-Monk's shuttle.
And you've wanted the refresher, right? Because it's classic of I just need to
right
go to the
underneath the void tube
and then pull something out from behind the side of it, right? Like the equivalent of Michael Corleone in The Gun in the toilet. And then the third one, I think the end room's already pretty well served by that. We don't really have many rooms. We need to go through make the normal rooms, don't we, as well? Actually,
yeah, we got other stuff to do.
For now, I will just put one. I might move it. I'll put one just right in the middle of the ship. Free floating one. In fact, you know what it is? It's underneath one of these vents.
Oh, of course. That totally makes sense to me.
Perhaps, an enterprising person could access it via all of these vents if they were willing to get muddy and greasy enough.
Alan, what do you think of that picture for your shuttle if you just want to import a picture? You can keep doing your art if you want, if that's what makes you happy, but just throwing out the possibility. Sweet. Now we're going to figure out our default. So by default, the ship has a tiny engine, tiny size helm, tiny set of systems, right? So we've already increased the helm because of our jockey, the engine because of our junker, and our systems are still at 0. And our armor hull is at 0 as well. So it's got enough scattered nooks for the crew to sleep and enough varied hideaways for fuel and supplies, but not much else. To start, choose 4. There are 4 of you. So we're just going to have each of you choose one of these. The last person to go was, I believe, Inez. So you get to go first now.
Cool. I am going to go with we get a tiny cargo hold because I think it's always better to be a smuggler with a legitimate cargo and an illegitimate cargo, right?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
So I will take the ship gets a tiny size +0 cargo hold.
Oh, cargo hold gets +1 size, actually. You already have a...
Oh, okay. Oh, we already have a cargo hold.
Yeah.
Do we?
Cool.
Where did we get the cargo hold from?
Do you have to add that first? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure.
It doesn't come by default.
Oh, well, are we looking on the character? If you're probably looking at the PDF, so let me...
I'm looking at the book, yeah.
Let me see here real quick.
By default, the ship has a tiny size 0 engine, a tiny size 0 helm, a tiny size 0 set of systems, and a 0 armor hull. And as far as I'm aware,
it
none of
doesn't
us
start
added
with a cargo hold. So you
Yeah, it
need to
doesn't.
add that as a tiny. Okay.
Yeah.
So that stinks, but because it's one less than before, but you have one. Cool. Thank you. I'm still
and-
memorizing size. So Bendy, you'll be next. What would you like to choose?
Should I draw the cargo hold on the ship?
If you want to, sure.
Yeah, I can put the size of it next to it as well.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I will say that the hull gets +2 armor.
Nice.
Seems like a useful thing to have.
That will save your can later. Good call. Talon.
I want to be able to make the castle run under 12.6. So what would I pick if I wanted to do that? Engine?
Yeah, engine
All
will
right.
make you faster.
Let's do it. Is there like a difference between faster and maneuverable or no? It's just engine.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
When you're flying a span is different from when you're doing tricky flying. So flying a span is just time passing type stuff, but
Gotcha.
I think you've got some pull a stunt is rolling plus gut. So yeah, I think engines would cover both.
Okay, yeah, let's have that those bragging rights. Salud.
Thank you. All right, so the engine gets +1 size. She's up to a 2 engine. She's got it where it counts. DMOC, what are you choosing?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted by armory or systems. What does systems do?
Systems are useful for basically figuring out where stuff is. So
When you lock down a room on the ship, roll plus size. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. Oh, so you literally, I see. So it's security. Oh yeah, though I'd like to have systems, please.
okay, cool.
Having played a game called FTL, it's also really useful as parts of your ship get set on fire that you can vent them into space.
Exactly.
Who knew
As if that's
FTL
gonna
would be
happen.
referenced in a Star Wars game, but it happened.
I would
Sweet.
totally play the FTL hack, the Star Wars hack of FTL.
Yeah, that would be fun. Sweet. I'd listen to the soundtrack first, though, because I love the FTL soundtrack so very much.
Beautiful soundtrack.
It is so good. Let's Rich focus. So back to Talon. As we now move down, you get to choose 2 of these. So Talon, what do you want to choose of these?
If I pick, okay, no, that seems. Is there anything here that would make us tougher? I don't think so. Well, there's
having guns would probably
Guns.
make you tougher.
Yeah. Any ideas? Anybody feeling particularly strong about something?
Do more bolt holes. Let's have all bolt holes.
I mean, guns seem a bit of a no-brainer to me. Don't we?
Yeah.
Do need to defend ourselves, don't we?
Guns, infirmary.
Yeah, those are all good things. Okay,
Guns or infirmary.
all right, Rich, give me some pistolas here, the old girl.
All right. You can now not only fly well, but you can shoot stuff. Good.
Uncivilized.
Love it, Talon. Such a good choice. Bendel, you get to choose the second thing.
Okay. I'm gonna say that we have a boarding dock, actually.
Boarding dock. Interesting. Wow.
Classic.
That is cool. All right. So I'm gonna move move this down and add those 2 bits just so we don't forget them. By we, I mean me. Since there's 0, I'll just copy this and paste a couple down. So we got guns. Board.
Now, guns turrets, do we think?
Boarding dock here. So at size 0, ship's hulls must be touching the board. At size 1, you can board at close range. So basically, you get a move now. When you board a ship, pick a room and roll plus size. On a 10 plus, your dock makes it to that room and makes an entrance. No worries. On a 7 to 9, either it doesn't go to the room you want or you stall, and the ship's other crew can prepare for you. So that's what a boarding dock does.
Did we just become pirates?
Well, I think we now have the option.
Yeah.
We do. Inez, you get to choose one here. An additive.
Well, I mean, it's the guns, in it. Guns get the +1 size. Now we have guns 1.
Sounds good. So let's guns 1. 1 guns. 1 guns.
And I'm imagining, it's a relatively larger ship, right? Like, look at the size of it, where the beds are and stuff. It feels bigger than the Millennium Falcon, right? As a rule of thumb to me.
Longer than Millennium Falcon, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the Millennium Falcon's a nebulous space to begin with, right?
Yeah, but the trouble is that most of this is a nebulous space.
Yes,
it's just cavernous space.
Yeah.
That's what made it cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yet only a tiny part of it can be used for the cargo hold, apparently.
Well, there are no ties. There's no way to secure anything. Is unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's insecure. It's just like a big open space.
If only we could afford some rope.
This was a livestock transport ship that we got.
Space rope.
Yeah.
Oh God, a livestock transport. Oh, it still smells like bantha.
But I'm gonna go with guns as like, like on the Falcon, they run up into like the turret compartments, like through a ladder. I'm kind of imagining that as like, there's a ladder that goes up, and then you get to like the weapons center, right? And that might control like a remote turret on the bottom of the ship, but various turrets around, right, that you can take over manually.
Well, don't get too excited about various turrets. This is one turret with a light gun and a heavy gun.
No. What it is it's a guns room of size 1 is the way that Rusthooks works, because it's a system rather than a individual item,
Oh, right. I was just reading the move.
Oh, yeah. The turret has 1 light gun on it. Yeah, for each has 1 additional light gun. So it's got 2.
2 light guns and 1 additional heavy, yeah.
Yeah. So we got 2 light guns and 1 additional heavy, we've probably got the main heavy gun like on top, right? So it can shoot back, and then the 2 light guns are sort of like one near the front, near the cockpit, and then the other one near the engines, just to go with some B-52 bomber style stuff.
Yeah. Do we need to select the guns, because there's then a list of light and heavy guns?
I don't think so. I don't think so. That's a cool thing, though. Maybe you make up some like manufacturer name. That would be fun.
I'm
Yes.
going to write those down because we need to choose 2 light guns and 1 heavy gun. The heavy gun, I think, has to be a
plasma cannon,
which would be a turbo laser in Star Wars, I think, which is of a category bigger than our ship should really be able to have on, which is why it is extreme hellfire, messy hot, right?
This explains why there's so much vacant space on this. It's all running the coolant system on that gun.
Yeah.
All right, we got some look options to choose, and I thought I would do that based off of each person's expertise. So the hull, unless Josh, you think otherwise, I was thinking the hull would go to, or the engine. Well, I think our pilot cares about the engine, so we'll give the engine to Talon. You get to choose 1 to 3 options. The hull to Bendo, you get to choose 1 to 3 options. Means you can choose all 3. You could choose just 1. It's totally cool. The interiors I'm going to give to the bolt hole queen, so Inez. And do you want quirks or perks, DMOC?
Once I've skimmed them, I'll tell you.
Sounds good. I love that you could choose the lighting. I think that's really interesting. So maybe we'll just talk about the lighting and the knickknacks.
Oh, perks, padded furniture, no question. I mean, it's behind most of us on these pictures.
Yes. Oh, I put this together. I got this from Amazon this week, and it's good. It's a big boy chair. I'd broken my last office chair because in a pandemic, I'm sitting in it all day long. Working. Sweet. This is fun. I really like the options to kind of personalize your as yet unnamed ship.
So I'm confused. Do we all choose some of these, or
I assigned Hull to so I was thinking you could either do quirks or perks. And
Oh, I see. So there can be more than one.
yes.
1 to 3 options.
Okay.
1 to
okay.
3. Yes.
Well,
sorry, that was unclear.
Okay. So oh, there's got to be constant creaking as a quirk.
Mm-hmm.
When the
And
ship
leaky
talks to me.
valves. There we are. That's 3 spread across quirks and perks.
There we go.
And I'm going with kitschy and disjointed because I think that all of us decorate in our own individual styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Inez has got a mix of pretentious high class and then absolute street level gang signs and shit that she's been grown up in.
What about Talon? Are you choosing anything for engine?
I am. I'm going to choose humming. That's very Millennium Falcon.
Nice.
And I'm going to choose spinning because I love the idea of like spooling up the engine, and it's also very Firefly.
Yeah, it is. It is. For sure. Okay, choose options for your ship. I think we've got
So
those done.
1 to 3 options for each. Can we?
Yeah, you can
we
make
got
suggestions. You have ideas. You have cool excitement.
I would quite like a hollow of a dancing Twi'lek as a knickknack.
Oh, and how does Annette feel about that?
Maybe it is Inez.
Oh no!
You know, she got involved in some very dodgy stuff.
I was a
On her
dancer
way out
before
here.
No, I was a dancer before. I've always been graceful. There is nothing to be ashamed about it.
You humans are.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned Richard leapt to seedy.
Jaldar Ko thought I was simply a dancer, and then I shot him in the back.
Oh, Jaldar Ko.
I'm going to also give us a knickknack. I'm going to say that we have air fresheners throughout the ship. I think that as much as Bendo has cultural disagreements with Etherean orthodoxy, the air on the herd ships is pumped in from the jungle planet below, right? And it has a very specific scent, and he's very
Canned
attached.
air.
So there are Ithorian air fresheners just scattered in every room.
Are they little trees?
They are. They're little like pine things, but it's a jungle tree instead.
Does that mean the interior is slightly more humid?
It is. It's a little bit like going to a rainforest cafe.
Okay, well, I've added humid to interiors.
Perfect.
So I'm going to add that when the
But
air
air
fresheners,
freshener only, no decor.
I'm going to add that when the air fresheners like lose their scent, that Talon takes them off from wherever they are through the ship, and he actually has them hanging in the helm as part of the decor.
So cute. It's so silly. I love it. So we have padded furniture. That's nice. Hollow of a dancing Twi'lek, air fresheners. Are there any? So let's talk lighting. I thought we could do it as a group thing. We'll just do the drop down. There are lots of those. Does anybody see a lighting where they're like, oh God, yes, please that?
Flickering or sparking would be my vote.
Of course. So British.
And
with that.
it also has the advantage of taking the insects out, which are attracted by the humid atmosphere.
Does anyone have opposed to the blinking and sparking lighting?
No, of course not. But I am going to add that the lights are bare. We do not have lampshades. Or like covers. I think that there are like, tube lights basically along the ceiling, and they do not have a cover to soften it. It's just the cathode tubes spitting.
Oh man, that's rough.
I will add that since they're bare, that one can actually tan under them, which is actually something that Talon does. He has the old 80s like fold out foil. Yeah.
Does anyone want to add a perk that they were like, oh, please, can we have this perk? There you go. Or a knickknack.
A perk. What have we got so far on perks?
Padded furniture. That's
padded
it.
furniture. I like padded furniture. I think I would like custom crew jackets. No, I don't think we're custom crew jackets.
we may have them, but I think we refuse to wear them.
Yeah. I am going to go
came with the ship
to reflect the our expanded bunk size, cozy bunks. I think that they are, like one of the nicest parts about this bucket of
it's the
gold
first
is
thing you bought.
They're nice,
Your
right?
very first ship, the very first job was completed. The first thing you bought was nice bunks.
Would anyone mind if I added grinding to the engine? Because I do want that noise when the Falcon can't actually engage its light speed. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Cisco?
Oh, heck yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. Can we have a pet? Or is that just totally tone breaking? And if it is, that's fine.
It depends what it does, I think.
I'll let you guys choose that.
What pets are there in Star Wars? That's the question.
We have that hideous thing that Jabba the Hutt has.
Oh, Kawaki and Spider Monkey?
Yeah.
Now that's a pet I could go with.
Yeah, I would shoot that though every time I saw it.
There's the Loth Cat, which was featured in Mandalorian.
I'm gonna vote for a Loth Cat. Yeah. Or that owl that follows Ahsoka around. That's
sure. Or a baby Nexu. Why in God's name you'd have a baby Nexu? But
let's clarify when we come to our pet, right? Danger? Possible.
You're cutting in and out.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, Ed. Can you say that again, Will?
You're breaking.
You're
sorry, I was breaking. I realized I was breaking. Yeah. Just when we comes to having pets, right, on ships, it's very much on in any game. It's, are we okay with them being in danger? Yeah. What is it? Are we okay with people not being? You know what I mean? Or do we all love the beloved sympathy, like NPC kind of, mascot kind of thing, or is it a rat out of my room kind of thing? Given
the nature of some of these characters, I think a cuddly toy is not a good idea. I did wonder about a vermin infestation, which might cover a number of different options.
Ooh. I mean, if we could have the Loth Cat to get rid of the vermin infestation.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, because I'd be cool with it being like Jonesy the ship's cat, where like some of us have affection for it, but to the rest of us, it's just a cat kind of thing. I just didn't want to have like the morality pet on the ship,
Down with a polarizing pet, like a cat.
So, quirk, vermin infestation, perks, pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying you have womp rats on the ship?
We certainly have something on the ship.
Womp rats are big though.
Oh, baby womp rats? Like miniaturized womp rats?
There must be smaller vermin in the world of Star Wars than womp rats.
Indeed. Last I checked, there were 1 or 2 meters long.
Yeah.
All right.
Slightly larger than 2 meters in size.
Also,
oh my gosh.
desert creatures, they wouldn't do well in the humid environment.
But there are swamp rats as well. Which sadly they missed the trick by just not just calling them, SWS rats.
There's a risk we can go down a rabbit hole here. Should we just set for an infestation and work from there?
Yeah.
Sorry. You're right. I started us on that, and I apologize. Yes, you have an infestation. You got a cat recently, and the loath cat is there on ship. So you got to. That's awesome. Okay, knickknacks. Got air freshener, Hollow of Dancing Twi'lek. Are we good with those two? Does somebody see a knickknack? They're like, oh, please, can we have this? Because we're about to shut it down and move on.
Damn.
Unfinished snacks.
According to Wikipedia, loath cats regularly hunt loath rats. So that might be what we're infested with.
There you go.
Nice. Unfinished snacks sounds good to me. Who is it who leaves behind all these unfinished snacks? Or do we think they're just left over from various crews?
I think that we none of us feel this is home, and therefore we don't treat it well. It's a staging post to something better. Why would you look after it?
So unfinished snacks litter the common areas.
Because we can't agree who clears them up. There's a rotor on the wall, and no one ever follows it.
Well, you wrote your own name down, DMAC. So, I mean, it's only yourself to blame.
Harsh. Let me throw this out and pitch you guys a very brief thing, and then we're going to move on. What do you think about the possibility that, like, the snack stuff that's lying around is because in your galley, one of you or someone who paid you a little money has stuck in a vending machine? I love the impersonality of a vending machine that has tasty snacks, but they're overpriced. But then you've been in the ship for a week, and it's like, damn it, I'm going to have those fizzy chips or whatever. And then you're so mad at yourself that you just leave the wrapper around. You guys good with that? Anybody opposed?
Yeah. Go with it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We put it in because we actually get a 2 credit rebate because the vending machine is covered in advertisements that rotate on like a digital billboard thing. So the corporate space thinks that it's worth it.
Oh, I love it. I totally know some of the corporate stuff that's going to show up is going to be stuff from Karania City. You just made my day, Josh. Good job. Sweet. Let's move on. I've chosen options for our ship. We didn't draw the ship because madness. There lies madness. Now we get to fill in chains. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. This is cool. We're coming near our break. Do we want to take a break now and then do chains? Just checking in.
Should we take a break now and then do chains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. We are back, and we're at the hardest part of this entire campaign, which is naming a ship. Again, remember, just because you name something and later you're like, oh, we should have named it that, just change it. It's fine. There have been some suggestions thrown in the chat from a random generator, and then I think Cisco, you had something you wanted to throw out as well. So
yeah, and Naz spent some time at level 1313 in Coruscant, yeah?
Oh, just a small amount of time.
Nice. So did Talon. I'm gonna pitch Lucky 1313.
No.
No.
I would not fly on any ship that was so obviously named.
Yeah, if you're trying to stay hidden, that seems a bit of a giveaway.
I may as well call it 7 Lives after the name of the nightclub I used to run.
I like the idea of it, but yeah, I think Inez would be totally freaked out.
Yeah.
Cool. And then in the generator, there were a few. The Karen Pioneer, the Pilgrim, the Opportunity, the Kenton Masquerade. Any of those tickle folks? Or you want to iterate off of that?
The Hyperspace Pilgrim.
That's cute.
they're like compound names for ships, you know, that get shot. Like
Yeah,
the
very
Falcon,
Millennium
the Millennium
Falcon.
Falcon,
Yep.
right? Like
Aluminum Falcon. That's
the Aluminum Falcon. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the Hyperspace Pioneer.
so.
Just
So,
because
did you throw out Royal Huntress there, Alan? Looks like it was a reply back to me. Private,
No. I'm just throwing things.
but you're just throwing them to Rich at the moment.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Which means that we now know that you've been secretly exchanging.
No, I
anyway,
said.
so,
Hold on.
This is a PBTA game.
I sent Alan a link to more pictures of the shuttle that he liked, and I didn't want to spam the chat, and that he replied to me without realizing he wasn't
entirely. So
totally innocent, friends. Innocent.
Rich, I'm gonna tell on you.
Don't.
To the host of the Plus One Forward podcast, who says that's not in the spirit of PBTA.
No secrets. What is this going on here? This is bad. Cheaters. Never prosper.
The Royal Huntress.
I like the Royal Huntress.
Yeah, the Royal Huntress is good.
Josh, you've been quiet. Do you have thoughts?
I don't like the pressure of naming the ship. That's such a big decision.
It's a lot.
Oh well, the Regal Huntress, the Royal Huntress, the Regal or the Royal. Does anyone have any preferences?
Regal is grander. And is so off what the ship is.
Yeah, which I like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
so
it.
The Regal Huntress. Cool.
Go big or go home.
Regal Huntress. It is.
I think I will even spend credits on this, but I would like a very over the top, well done artwork, on the cockpit and like a really cool name, like very stylized name of our ship's name.
Okay.
All right. There you go. Good work, friends. All right. Now it is time to fill in your chains. I was looking at this, and I think there's some really cool ways to do this. I'm just going to go down the list of the Slack questions, which, if you want to read along, is on the Chairgen or Caregin tab. So which two of you really are just indifferent about each other?
That's an interesting one.
I don't think there's any chance that I'm indifferent to somebody like Inez.
Just not an indifferent kind of person.
And, in honesty, we may be indifferent to all of you, but I think that is less interesting anyways. But we need to go, so we need each.
Yeah,
so
when I ask that, one person can jump on that and say, I think it's me and so-and-so. And if they agree, then you get that
I'm just wondering,
heat value.
Does it still work if we just pass a question entirely?
Absolutely. It should still work. And if we have to circle back, we'll circle back. Cool. So it sounds like nobody was up on the indifferent.
Yeah.
Which one of you
was up on apathetic, right?
It's all good. I like that. Right? Maybe I should start with more heat. I'm going to flip to the bottom. Which two of you know each other's secrets? And what's one of those secrets?
Oh, I definitely know Inez's secrets. So my speculation on underworld connections, I think, is absolutely that.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
And what do I know about your secrets, Dimac?
Well, you tell me.
Well, I know. What's the story you tell people about why you're no longer with your former crew? They stabbed you in the back, right? They burned you.
They burned me.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact,
it
didn't quite go that way.
No, not at all. No, in fact, that bank vault only had one person leaving the room with all of the credits, and the rest of them left in pieces. Yes, you know that I'm a former cartel, figure, and I know that you screwed over your previous crew, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we get a 2-2.
Right.
And that was one of the Slack questions. So you guys have a good amount of heat. So just to talk a little bit more, the higher the heat, the more you guys matter to each other. but that heat won't change as much as the type. So you could swing from slack right now, which means you guys have a generally positive relationship. Maybe it's a mutually assured destruction, you work together type deal, but you could easily flip to choking, which means that +2 heat on that makes it even more problematic. So
yeah, I think there's a line we're walking here.
Sounds good. All right, I'm going to ask the next high heat question. Which two of you always have each other's backs and why?
I think I always have Tufan Bendy's back. And Bendy always has my back. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Why? Well, for Inez, I know why. Because you're so useful, Bendy. You know how to fix everything. And if I'm on this bucket of bolts, I want to make sure that the person who knows how to keep it together is my dear close friend.
And Bendy, because Inez is his dear close friend, you know?
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Does Inez have any of those?
I have so many. She has literally killed over her friends before.
She has.
Yeah, it's just that it was one of her friends who she killed over her friend, which is how she's ended up here, basically.
It's true.
Sounds like a Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah.
Delightful. Let us move on. Which one of you got someone else out of a big jam? And the jam is not the food, but like a problematic situation, just so we're clear and someone wants to have some kind of bantha
I
jam.
mean, I would be interested to have got Talan Gendro out of a jam, because he strikes me as the kind of person who is endlessly in jams. That's why he's never been in the same job for more than a month or two.
What's the jam?
Do you want to speculate on that, Cisco, before I?
Yeah. Let me first ask, Rich, do you want to bring in that dangling plot thread of me being on the run from someone wanting to kill me?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I'll take that.
Okay,
that
yeah.
Fun.
Then that won't be the jam. That jam is still around.
Okay.
Oh man, there's so much.
That doesn't have to go away. That we can do both things. I can have got you out of a situation where they caught up with you. Yeah. That doesn't mean they've stopped looking.
That's true. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then that gives Rich, a bounty hunter.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. They finally caught up to me, and on top of that, let's just escalate it one step further. I think you are the one that got me this piloting job, if that's okay with you.
I think that's probably true. I think we needed a pilot, and maybe that's the only reason I got you out of that jam.
Maybe.
Now, this is asymmetric, Rich, so 2-1.
Yes, so the person who got out of the jam gets the 2, and the person no. Person who's gotten out of the jam has a 2 back. So Talon, you'll have a heat of 2 with DMAC. And DMAC, you have a heat of 1 with Talon Gendro. Okay. Both of you, these are slack questions, so it's starting as slack.
Okay.
You're currently positive relationships or beneficial.
Indeed.
Now, no one. We got some bendy. We need some more bendy.
I'd like to put a bendy on the table, so to speak. I think that Bendy and I have flown together for a while now.
Yeah, totally. Where did we start flying together, do you think?
I don't know. What do you think?
That crew. After you killed your last crew.
Well, what I'm thinking, because Bendy doesn't strike me as a fundamentally dubious character, okay? So
Yeah.
I think that
He's a
Bendy and I go
criminal,
back a
curious,
long way.
but not a bad guy. No.
No. And so I think that then I've gone back to Bendy because of what happened with the crew, that very disreputable crew that I unfortunately got tied up in.
Yeah.
Oh, you left them tied up in a garbage compactor. Yeah. Sorry, I'll stop doing this.
So I'm curious, Bendy, whether this goes back to your time in the corporate worlds.
Yeah, I think it does. I think that we got to know each other because in the corporate worlds, crime is a just sort of a normalized part of the supply chain. And Bendy, wants interesting curios, and you were able to supply those for him. So we got a sort of working relationship with Bendy, this at that time, this sort of like hapless engineering student almost. And I think that when you return to the corporate worlds after your mishaps, which Bendy does not know the whole story of, you thought, well, this guy seems like a nice guy. Maybe I'll see if I can't get some moral fiber out of him.
So wholesome, man. D-Mock, you're a good guy.
Always.
Yes, of course, he's such a wonderful guy, D-Mark.
Now,
I have a Slack question to throw out whenever it's next.
go ahead, because we're about to go to choking.
Cool. I see a question here. Which one of you looks up to someone else and why? Looks up to, I'm going to play fast and loose with that definition. But like I said before, I think I look to Bendy. Maybe get his approval, try to get his friendship. He's the introvert in the back. And then on top of that, like, he'll bring him music. He'll bring him like the Ithorian language. And we'll try to like get him to teach him how to pronounce these words and stuff like that. Like translate lyrics from him, maybe from the Dorn Krantz. So that could either be student teacher or looks up to someone. Which sounds better, Josh?
That's a good question. I think.
Sorry. First of all, is that okay with you that we?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
I think looks up to someone probably.
Okay.
In sort of a loose sense of the word, and yeah, that totally makes sense. I think that, and again, Bendy is I think maybe putting less stock into this relationship, not intentionally. I think he just sort of hasn't realized that Talon is sort of trying to be like a friendly guy, and he's like, oh, this guy has a lot of questions. The
way I'm imagining it is like, Tal comes down to like, while you're working on something, right, and bombards you with questions about Itorian culture and things like that, and you're just like, yeah.
I'm just like, what, don't you want to know about the engine?
Yeah. You think that you're teaching him the basics of maintenance. He's actually just to hear about Itorian singing and dual throat singing and stuff.
Yeah. Do you pronounce it like or is it more like Yeah.
So I realized that we've gotten so excited about the Slack questions that we've run a little amok. We may have to make some adjustments here, because for every 2 Slack questions, you have to ask a choking question, and it looks like I did not correctly corral you guys. So everybody created cool Slack things. We're going to need to figure out a choking relationship between characters. So you need to have at least one choking relationship with one of the other 3 characters. And once you establish that, right, things will settle up. I apologize.
Can I put on the table then that?
Wait, before you put on the table, Will had a question. I want to make sure that everything's clear.
3, 4, 5, 6, 8 Slacks so far. So yeah, you're right. We need to do 1 choking question.
Each player can have 2 Slack and 1 choking is basically how it's going to end up.
Yeah. Because of the way we've done it. Yeah, you could end up with one character has all choking relationships with other characters, and everybody else has got Slack. Yeah, which I would have been totally down for, but this is how we've ended up. So sorry, Alan.
And Alan, you had something you wanted to put on the table.
So to put a slightly different spin on the Bendy relationship, we do go back a long time, but it's not that kind of we've flown together for a long time. We are constantly trying to one-up one another. because of that kind of teenage almost time back on the corporate worlds.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so same history. We just flipped it, and it
That's
could
right.
be something that becomes more slack later, but at start is choking. I like that. I think that's really cool. Good. Thank you for that suggestion. That was very helpful. And it looks like, Talon, do you have defined? I know we've talked it out, but I haven't seen updates to the sheet for Talon's relationship with
So would I be?
Bendy.
I think I would be the 1, and you would be the 2 for that.
Sounds good. I agree with that. And then I have a choking question for myself, and I have another sort of bond with someone else, if I could throw that out.
Okay.
I think it's with me, isn't it? Right at this point.
Yeah.
I've got slack with 2 people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it needs to be a choking one with you.
Cool.
Indeed. Yeah, I was going to pitch, you will, that for as extroverted and bombastic as Talon can be around everybody, when he's around Inez, like he actually has been in the criminal world, and maybe Inez is really the only one who understands him. And so you and I sit down and actually enjoy quiet drinks together from time to time.
That is not a choking question.
Yeah, that's
My
not at all
choking
choking.
question. My choking question was going to be: we don't trust each other.
Yeah, I was so glad you're going to go for that, because I'm
Okay.
like, I can't trust this Talon.
Mhm.
He's far too outgoing. His mouth, we were supposed to lay low, and then he spent those credits on writing the cliffing name of the ship all over the front of it. Like,
Mhm.
and he wanted to call it the Lucky 1313. Can you believe that?
I think there's that, but I'm
Yeah.
also going to pitch you that you and I actually know the same people in the underworld.
Oh yes. Well, I mean,
And-
you would have certainly heard of Inez at some point, right? Like,
Right, yeah.
Bloodbath on 1313, Co's crew wiped out, Black Sun driven, respectable businesswoman Inez takes over the 9 Lives, the 8 Lives Club. Anybody who has any questions to that gets out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the idea of us both knowing about the actual underworld, like what is this movie with Keanu Reeves?
John Wick.
Point Break.
Yeah, with John Wick. And so you and I have a common language that maybe we use when we have drinks, but it's the sort of things like when 2 assassins share a drink and they're like, okay, nice time is over. If we see each other out there, maybe.
I'd like to make it a little bit lower class than that. I think it's more along the lines of, we know like the gang signs and the gang lingo, right? Because Inez used to be a hawk on the very bottom level of it all, right? And she rose to the top. But I get the impression that Talon was more in that sort of like low to middle grade of like the underworld, right? Like muscle rather than lieutenant or anything, right? So like there's an easy, like who else can talk about, Dex's Diner and such sort of places that we've got in common, right? And like, oh, do you remember when they firebombed it? Oh no, they firebombed it. I wasn't there for that. Like, yeah.
Shame about Hayden Finn.
Yeah. Oh man. Can you believe they shot him?
They cut off all of his arms. I love it. But it also means we can't trust each other.
Oh yeah. God, yeah.
I love that.
Because trusting people from 1313 is how I ended up here.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much for being flexible. Now everybody has 2 slack and 1 choking relationship. Fantastic work. We are now to step 8 of 9. Step 9 is begin play. Elect captain. This should be unanimous among the crew. Make deals and bargains if you have to. The captain then picks up their captain benefits on their playbook.
I'm just going to quickly see what the captain benefits is and min-max this stuff.
In the bucket of moves, the captain benefits are that they get specific moves. Alpha dog, which means you can force people to help each other. Get a job. You're the one who names the type of job and gets to roll to see if you get what you want. Get paid. You're the person that goes to try to make sure you get paid. That's what you get. Does anyone want to be the captain? It sounds like
I'd like
Bindi
to
is-
nominate myself.
Okay, look at
I
that.
second the nomination.
At third.
Bendy is not running for captain.
Are you okay with DMOC? Are you going to fight DMOC as captain? Captain DMOC?
No, Bendy is not concerned with captaincy. That's not important to him. What's important to him is adventure. So
Beautiful.
I'm very happy.
This is what he was like when he was 14.
Good stuff.
As long as DMonkey is willing to, find stuff that Bendy can trash, I got no complaints.
As long as DMAC is willing to put a face to all of this nonsense, then I am happy to be behind the scenes.
Is there a place to put those moves on the sheet?
You know what? Yeah, I have short-sightedly not made that available, but I will do so between now and the next session.
Okay. Just if you just slot them in below the
Yep.
kind of drop-down moves, that'd be great.
And just to return to the guns briefly, because I feel like we should, the options, the size and everything, like just reflect the guns that we have. And I've just gone with that turbo laser that we talked about, and a missile launcher, a concussion missile launcher on the back, right? In case anybody comes in behind us. And
What
then
are- What are those? I'm going back a long way here to when I used to play TIE Fighter on my PC. But weren't there those things that fired and could disable ships?
Ion cannons.
Ion cannon. I'm just wondering, is there any option on something like that? Because if we are going to board things, and we have a boarding thing.
Well, I mean, so we taken the turbo laser. On the light ones, there isn't, it's an EMP, it would be a heavy gun, I think, would be the most that comes over to the ion cannon, which would really mean replacing our turbo laser, which I am happy to have an ion cannon instead of a turbo laser. I feel that's almost more appropriate, frankly.
I quite like the idea of an ion cannon.
Cool. Well, I will look. So we don't have a turbo laser. We have an ion cannon. I'll find a picture of an ion cannon instead of a turbo laser. I mean, how could I dare choose the wrong image for these things? Light gun will still have a concussion missile launcher on the back, and I think just a light blaster, like what pops out of the Falcon's hull and starts shooting at the stormtroopers as they come over, right? Like that's near the front. It's not really that useful against spaceships, apart from TIE fighters that get too close to the cockpit or something, right? But it's
a light machine gun, isn't it?
Essentially, yeah. But it's Star Wars, so it's an E-web or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I will put those. I think I'll just put a note on the guns section, and then just write them in the stats in there if that works for people. It won't be visible at a glance, but if we come to roll guns, you can just hover over it to see the damage.
I mean, while we're at it, I don't know how you feel about replacing the just cargo hold box with that graphic of a cargo hold.
Yeah, feel free. I just put it there to think if you can find one. I thought about it. I didn't want to get into the rabbit holes of making a cargo hold picture that would line up with the ship in any way, shape, or form.
What are you thinking? That's not a rabbit hole. That's time well spent.
I have added the captain moves while you guys were having fun talking about pew pew blasters. Good job. Way to go. We're now to step 9, friends. Step 9 is begin play. Figure out where you're starting, probably somebody's hometown, and then the captain should likely roll to get a job.
Well, you kindly provided us with a base, haven't you? Or
if you guys are cool with starting off, we will begin at the beginning. So, Talon. Yeah, so the I really want to start Talon watching the Larse Legionnaires playing a rocket skate game. Are you cool with that?
Absolutely.
Who else? So there is basically a roller derby arena at Spaceport Black Orchard that where they call it Rocket Skate. So it's a rocket skate arena. We start off with Talon there because he knows several members of the team, and rumors are that the owner of Black Orchard, like the entire spaceport, because it's called the Larse Legionnaires, his name is Larse, he's got a vested interest in this thing. The arena is like brand new, like everything's shining. This is the big kind of grand opening. It's the first game they are playing against a team from traveled all the way from, let's just do it just to make Will happy, from Belthu.
Hey,
And
Belthu.
that's right. They traveled all the way from Belthu, and of course they're the best tech. Oh, what's their team name? Unless that's going to shut you down, Will. What do you think? Since it's best tech, I give you the naming properties. We have the Larse Legionaries, best tech Blades. So good.
Nice. Rich, if you remember from the last game, have contacts of people who are in this sport. Can I be an assistant coach?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
you're an assistant coach because occasionally you have to go off and do jobs, but yeah, I love it.
But I know about racing, so I qualify.
You do. You're qualified. I love it. So Talon, who have you pulled along? Have you been able to pull the whole crew along to watch this game?
They certainly have free tickets. And I think that I found something that would interest them.
Well, of course, Talon, there is always good odds to be made on Roll Derby, especially if you can, find the one with the spice habit.
There you go. And this is in for the betting. I knew it. Dimak, what did I get you to get you to come? What was the carrot?
Meeting someone who might have a job for us.
Oh, contacts. Yep. Talon has friends. Sounds good. Bendy, why did I get you to come? Or how did I get you to come, rather?
I think that's a good question. What is the equipment like in this sport?
There's rockets on skates, so we would need you there.
Yeah. Bendy is very, very interested in learning how a rocket skate functions.
That's great. The people from the team, as you're trying to do your work, I'm definitely like, have you met Lulu? Have you met Smasher? Have you met Nika? I'm trying to get Bendy in to make friends with people.
Sweet. I think, Bendy, if you're the kind of person that would end up only really wanting to talk about tech, if you check under the Black Orchard folks and NPCs and places, row 10 is Pian Zelen. So that's a chakram. If you've seen Rise of Skywalker, this tall person that worked on C-3PO, that's this guy. So he's rocket skate sized. He's a rocket skate sized tech. He would be happy to talk to you about all the thrust capabilities of the rocket skates, and he's very excited. I'm sorry, she would. Sorry. I misgendered. Apologize. She would be more than happy to chat you up. Probably climb up onto your shoulder.
Yeah, Bendy is having a grand old time.
Nice. And the best contact for DMOC to try to work on getting a job would definitely be Leiden Madoc, a Duros. He is a fixer on a Black Orchard spaceport.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I think he sounds like the sort of individual that, I'm imagining the skating going on, and the two of us are paying, lip service to observing the race, because actually we have important stuff to talk about.
Right. Maybe is the thing where maybe you guys headed up a little bit. I imagine this is pretty busy. So did you get out of the stands and maybe you're near a concourse?
Oh, no, because the great thing about a rowdy crowd is that no one can hear what you're saying to the person next to you.
Nice. Maybe you guys are just underneath the VIP area where Larse and his head of security, Jordan, are. And yeah, so Leiden sits down and says, So the Regal Huntress is interested in some new work. That sounds interesting. What are you looking for, friend?
We're in that position in terms of our startup, where we need to make some reasonably lucrative deals early to establish. You know what it's like, new business. You need to kind of establish your name, a profile, but we prefer not for that profile to be respected but not well known. You know what I mean? And what I'm trying to hint to him is that what we're looking for here is high-paying illegal work.
Okay, so you're looking for
with somebody's being pursued from Coruscant and somebody else has got a bounty hunter on their tail. We can't be too above board.
It's so true. So yeah, when you put the word out and try to land a job, name the type of job. Now the types of jobs, if you look on the bucket of moves or on the Regal Huntress, I have that list, but the descriptor is on column D. And I'll actually highlight that in a different color,
I found it.
So it's easy to pick it out.
It's alongside get a job.
Yep.
I think a shipment of cargo sounds like a relatively low stakes to start this business, but I'm hoping that this is going to be illegal cargo.
Okay, you're looking for illegal cargo. So you're looking for the haul. You want an illegal haul. That sounds cool. Now we get to have our first die roll of the game. They get a job. You're going to roll plus face.
Which is quite good, I think.
You're +2 on face.
I am
You're
+2.
quite the face. You're the facey facer.
Let's roll 2d6.
See how this goes.
That is 5, 6, 7. Oh, that was a close run thing.
Yeah. Okay. So as we take a look at that move on get a job on a 7 to 9, you get to choose one. You get the type of job you want. You get the legality you want.
I think the legality is more important to me. I want this to be illegal. I'll take what he's got.
Okay. So Leiden, he throws, he's got a little data pad and he'll slide over and he's showing you on the data pad the cargo hold stuff, the cargo hauls that he has going out of Spaceport Black Orchard. They're all low risk, heavy space lanes, super legal, not going to make any, clearing profit from this. You'd have to be super efficient to do it.
And that is not the well-oiled machine this crew is yet.
And he says, I was afraid of that, more excited by that. I think cargo there are always cargo holes. When you come back, maybe something nicer will open up for you. But if you're looking to get some creds, maybe come out on the better side, then I've got someone who needs to get out of the Black Orchard, and they're willing to pay very well.
Well, I've got a pilot who's done the Kessel run in record time, frankly, and I don't care what other stories you've heard.
This sounds good. Then if you can ferry this individual, have them come to your ship, they need to go to... Have you been to Arda 2 lately? I ask because there's quite a bit of trouble. That's why this is something you're going to have to keep on a low key.
Is there a move that would allow me to determine how much I did know about that place?
You tell me how much Dimag keeps up on imperial politics and the encroachment of the New Republic.
I think that he strikes me as a savvy individual. So I think he's reasonably well informed. He makes it his business to be well informed. He can't do this work without that.
All right. Then you know that Arda 2 is considered a free world. And if you and don't worry about it, but if you do take a look, Arda 2 is actually located not in the middle. It's kind of on the edge, but officially in Zinj's empire. It's not far from here. That's the good news. You guys are near Felucia. So this isn't that far of a span. But Arda 2 fought for and won its freedom and is considers itself part of the New Republic. There has been a standing blockade around, and they've just been trying to choke that thing to death, make sure that nothing goes in and out.
And is that a blockade by Zinj, or is that a New Republic blockade?
It's a blockade by Zinj because that planet just kind of rose up out of left field or out of nowhere.
Okay, so we need to run a Zinj blockade. I'm confident that Talon can go in, solo. And I've got, one of the best engineers in the business. I've known him since he was a kid.
All right. That sounds good. Then
do you have a deal?
I will send them your way. They will be here. They'll be at your ship within 2 hours. Enough time for everyone to enjoy the rest of this game.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Cool. So you're flying one span, and it's a simple payout. So because it's illegal, we need to add 3 credits per span flown. It's one span. By default, it's 5 credits per span. So you're talking about an 8 credit payout.
That
you
strikes
get
me as a very good start.
It's a good start. So it's 8 credits. We're going to start off. You get paid 4 up front, and this person is going to pay you 4 when you get there. And just so we're clear, yes, I know that 4 credits won't buy you anything in Star Wars. This is abstracted. It's 4 credits that are, 4 play credits. It's maybe 40,000 credits. Who knows? So you've got 4 credits. Here's how it works. So I'm gonna actually move us to share screens just so we're on the same page, and then we're gonna drop into some role play, and then we'll take off on the job. Fuel for one span costs credits equal to the largest size room on the ship. The largest size room on the ship is 2, right? Because we have armor 2, engine 2, bolt holes of 2. That's funny. So that means that fuel for one span is going to cost you 2 credits. Now, supplies for a crew cost 1 credit. So the bare minimum, you've got to spend 3 credits just to make this thing happen to get there.
We're already
sense?
In profit.
Now, you may want to buy more fuel because when you fly a span, I'm going to jump to a bucket of moves. When you fly a span between 2 planets, you roll. For every span's worth of fuel and supplies you burn, you have +1 to the roll. You can do it up to a maximum of +3, which means that if you get the bare minimum of fuel for the Regal Hunters and bare minimum of supplies, you use those up and you don't have anything else to give you pluses.
Okay. Then we have to spend another, I think that we'll have a crew meeting. But my view is that we have to spend that extra bit of credit we've got ahead of the game to fuel up.
Okay.
Yes, I would rather not get stranded in space again.
No argument with me. The question I then ask is whether we need to create more fund in the sense of investing together into the ship. So were each of us, for instance, to put one of our personal credits into the ship fund, that would give us a little bit of headroom and we could actually buy some more fuel.
So I just want to double check that credits that we have in our individual pockets are worth the same as the credits for the ship.
Yes.
Cool.
It's a
just
1-for-1
that was
credit.
different in Uncharted Worlds, for example, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we got into real trouble about mega credits.
Yeah.
I am totally okay with the idea of each putting up 1 credit into a pool.
Oh, well, it is my last credit. That's all I have. But for the crew, I will do this, of course.
Yeah, because those stolen goods presumably are in a cubby hole you haven't told the rest of us about.
What stolen goods?
Indeed so, yeah, okay. Yeah, the widow's mite is what we're taking from Inez. So if everyone reduces credits by 1, that gives us another 4 into the ship's pot.
Okay. So you were down to 1 credit from what you just got paid, assuming you're doing the job because you had to buy 1 supplies, 2 fuel. Everybody's giving an extra credit to boost you back up to 5 credits, right? And how are you spending that?
I'd actually like to put 2 more fuel in the pot.
Because
I think that would then give us conceivably a +3 on that roll.
So no. First of all, sorry.
Oh.
First of all, you're going to spend 2 just to do the thing. So if you burn the 2 more, you get +2, not +3.
+2. Yeah.
And there's the other thing to think about. Sorry. The other thing to think about, you still got to fly home.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, that puts an entirely different spin in it, doesn't it? Now, he's going to give us another 4 when we arrive, but
yes.
Do we want to be refueling on the wrong side of a blockade that we've just run?
Listen, the one thing I know about spaceships is that they always need fuel. So if we buy it now or we buy it tomorrow, it is all the same, right? This is a good. It will always be in demand for us.
So reduce credits to 0 and add 3 more fuel. Is what I'm hearing.
Yes, and then if we are cut short and we need credits along the way, well, I'm all out, DMAC, but you've got pockets, of course, as captain.
You still have to burn 1 supply. You'll need supplies of 1 to get back as well.
Oh,
sorry.
This is getting more complicated. Okay.
I know. That's why I'm trying to help the guy.
Reduce credits to 2, add a second supply.
Yeah. We need 2 supply, 4 fuel for the whole round trip, right?
Yeah.
And now we've got 6 fuel, 2 supplies, and we're at 0. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm more worried about having +2 to arrive there than +2 to come back. So I'm not going to go around with the hat for another round of contributions unless anybody has that idea.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but just so we the players all know, if you get that 4 and you have no trouble, you've kind of broken even, but you get back with 4 credits.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
I if I'd known it was this expensive, I might have negotiated for a higher cost.
Why don't we pull back a little bit to that? DMAC knows his job, so he offers up 8. Let's drop here. So DMAC offers 8. He says, 8. This is illegal, so you only have to fly a short distance, but you do have to break the blockade. You drop them in, you get back however you want. It should be easy and quick. And you do the math in your head, you've got to beg them for a little bit of money. So how do you want to play that when the offer's set up?
Oh, I absolutely want to explain to him that this is a premium job because we're going to get there not just on time. We're just not going to get there. We're going to get there quickly. And the kind of service that we can offer. I mean, have you been on our ship? We've got the passenger accommodation is pretty good. I think this guy will pay more.
All right. So you are pushing for a little bit more more money from him.
Using fast talk, I think.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and have you fast talk him to try to get a little bit more money.
Yeah. Okay. 2d6
and you're
plus
going to
2
be
again.
rolling.
This
plus
can't
face.
be another. Oh, he gads. Another 5, 6, 7.
Wow. Another 7. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, they'll buy it, but the MC will add 1 more thing first. Let's see. I get to add 1 more thing first, he says. What is the 1 more thing he'd want?
Is it possible that there's something else he needs to get that it would be convenient to get there that we carry free?
I'm trying to
side
think if
job for him.
yeah. No, that's a great. Oh, weird. Something. Huh. At some point, I must have bumped my leg, and that's weird. Sorry. Just realized I was bleeding. That's a weird thing to realize. Just randomly, just look down and hey, my leg is bleeding. Not badly, like a little scuff. I think it's from when I hit this corner of the bed, and I said, "Ow, that hurts," and I kept going. Anyway, sorry.
If your lips start going blue, we'll warn
keep it
you,
up,
Rich.
yeah.
If I fall down, just go ahead and leave the Zoom call.
911.
Exactly. Call 411 to ask them what the number is in America. They'll tell you it's 911. Anyway, I think he'll add in. Okay. I got this. He says, yes, I'm sure you have lots of other places to go, but I have something I'm trying to line up right now. If you agree that you'll come right back to Spaceport Black Orchard, I'll give you the first take on it. Then I can kick in an extra 50% to the fee.
We don't have plans to come. Yeah, I mean, the guys are happy here. Look, they're having a great time. No problem. We'll come back.
Okay. Then he's offering it. He's pushing it up from 8 to 12, but it's based off.
Yeah, this sounds now more economically appropriate. So I think that puts 4 credits in our pocket at this point. Yeah.
Well, it was 4 up front. You spin all that out and borrowed from everybody, so you'd get half up front, so 6. So you're 2 to the good right now, but you're going to get a 6 cred payout from your passenger.
So right now we're looking at 2 credits in the pot. Let's buy another 2 fuel.
I think we have enough fuel.
Okay.
We have 6 fuel. We need 4.
Yeah.
Talon is a great pilot.
For +3 on arrival, but okay.
Talon gets to add his thing when he rolls to think. Yeah.
Do these cumulative above 6, or I'm just looking at the flyer span one, which seems to be just based on fuel.
Right.
Oh, so the pilot doesn't get it. I think that might actually be the pilot's skill on. If the pilot was the captain, they get to do something special with the flyer span thing.
Let's see here. What moves do you have? Do you have a move that?
Oh, that's true. Can I just check whether, because I'm the captain, do I get if you are the captain?
You get Shrewd Negotiator, which means you get to choose an extra 1 from the job every time you go looking for a job, I believe, or something like that.
Which that was why I was totally going to. What are we talking about?
The envoy's
each of the playbooks has a kind of captaincy bonus.
Oh, sweet!
It's when you get paid, Alan. So
it is.
That won't be until the end of the thing.
Fine.
Still good to know. And thank you guys for. I don't even know if we did that when we played before. Whoops! Yay! A thing. Captaincy. There we go.
Yes, there is a bonus for traveling a span if the jockey is the captain, but I think otherwise it does not.
Okay, so we're not in quite as firm routes as I. When you travel a span, you choose +1 option on a 10+ and -1 option on a miss. So, if Talon had been our captain, we would travel safer. But I apologize for sidetracking us down the rules.
No, it's good. Once we get this down, because this is going to be part of the cycle, and once we're comfy with it. It just speeds along. I've dropped your expert negotiator in there right underneath the get paid move. So you and I will hopefully remember it. Lovely. So the game passes. The Belthu Blades, they barely eke out a win. It's disappointing. No. It's disappointing, Talon, but there's a lot of good spirit. Larce had already set up like this huge buffet for everybody afterwards. It's really a delightful time, and you're pretty sure he made bank because they were charging too much for the synth hall. the tickets were just a little pricey for this opening bid. They wanted to get people on season passes, so you're pretty sure that Larse did well for himself here, and maybe he doesn't care if they won or lost, but so who like Talon, you could easily pull the crew along, but I think DMAC might be good if they don't get too trashed, since you guys need to take
exactly.
off. So how are you handling it?
I think it is about, let's come together, and if necessary, I will remind you who's in charge, and remind you that we're going to get paid on the basis of getting our asses on that ship in a decent condition, creating a good impression, and getting going. Okay.
Listen, DMAC, I have people to see and matters to call in. I need some moments here, some time.
You can see people when we get back. Inez, the fewer people you see right now, frankly, the better. And you and I know why. Okay?
Well, you're gonna fast talk me. Cajole me into coming on board the ship.
Well, I'm toying with Alpha Dog. Let me just.
Oh, Alpha Dog is forcing people to help others. I don't think
I see.
your
Right,
way around
okay.
otherwise.
Or hold. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it probably is fast talk.
Yeah, let's do
or
it.
Threaten. Do you want me to? And I just come over here with me for a moment. Right? Look, you and I know some stuff, don't we? Okay. Now, I don't want other people to know that stuff. You don't want other people to know that stuff. But I need you to get your shit together and do your fucking job. And your job is on that ship, okay?
Why don't you roll for me, Alan?
I will threaten somebody then. And I'm rolling so well. Hell, but it's still plus face. Hey. Oh my God, fathers.
Okay.
7, and 6.
We have entered a very interesting moment. So, you could, with this fail, the fail's on the table. The good news is, if you just eat it, you fail. You get an XP. However, when you make a roll and don't like the result, you can call for help. A crew member who isn't doing anything right now can come to help you.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, Talon, Bendy, talk some sense into this woman, okay?
Well, I think that on that miss and the calling for help framing, I'd like is that you say all of that, right? And Inez goes like, I'm sorry, Dima, can you repeat that? And as you start to say it, there's just suddenly a blaster like in your mouth. And she's like, I thought we had some sort of arrangement, and then the other crew can come over and try and help out.
Crap.
Right?
That's scary.
Yeah.
I think Talon is going to be legitimately distracted. And he's going to be, again, introducing Bendy to people and chatting up his teammates. And he's going to be saying some positive things about Bendy and being like, and that's when we found an anomalous power signature on the radial charge converter. And then Bendy goes, we should unspan the bubble transporter. Can you believe that? I would have never thought of that. Talon is not going to go help.
All right. So, Bendy, you see that your captain needs a little bit of help negotiating with your runner to get things going. How are you going to respond and help?
And Inez is just, like secrets, like talkative lips. On 1313, we know how to deal with such things.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, here's the thing is that
always have each other back.
Inez is Bendy's friend.
I mean, you could still help out in the sense of like, this is for Inez's own good, right? Like diffusing the situation. But I think that will still tighten our chains, perhaps. We can get into that once you've decided the thing, right? So you go to help out, which is.
So I'm going to help. Okay.
So here's how helping works.
Yeah.
First, we compare the heat. So you guys have a slack chain, correct? Your chain between DMAC and Bendy is slack, not choking.
No, my strain is choking between.
Oh, okay. All right. That is less than good. It is choking. So here's what happens with that. You, Bendy, can choose. So if you want to take a look at column G, peripheral moves on the bucket of moves tab.
Okay.
So because it's choking, you get to choose how many +1s you want to add to the roll, and all the repercussions for that help. DMOC eats it because it's a choking relationship, and you're helping him.
Okay. Well, wonderful.
Now, but before we go that further, so we subtract the higher of the two heats between the crew members to the roll being helped. We have a 6 on the board. And your relationship between the two of you, I think, is 1 and 1.
1 and 1, yes.
Okay, so the default is you're adding 0. You've got to add +1s. Now, for each +1 added, there's a little list. For each +1 added, the crew member helping chooses a consequence. So the crew member takes +1 harm, takes 1 harm, AP. The room you're in, unfortunately, this isn't a room, so I'll choose the room. The room takes 1 harm. Something important breaks and must be repaired. The crew member heats their chain with the other. You guys are already at choking, so the heat would go up, but you'd stay at choking. The chain between the two members tightens, which means that if you've been at slack or taut, it would have tightened or become worse. So you can't really choose that option. Okay. How many +1s would you like to add to this 6?
Well, I would like to add.
You can choose you can choose 4 if you really want to.
Yeah, I'll add 1. I'll make this a
it's nice. That seems appropriate. Now you get to choose 1 consequence. Which of those consequences do you want to come to bear with this help that pushes it to a 7 to 9?
Well, we're not in the ship, so it can't be the room that we're in takes harm, right?
Fair. I mean, it can be. If you want to choose that, then I'd choose a room takes some kind of harm. It might be a perpendicular reason. It would be because you're helping, but that thing would come true.
Tension stops you from doing the maintenance or something, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I think, and I apologize for this, Alan, but I think that the crew member takes 1 harm.
Yeah, so do I.
And I think that specifically what happens is that we're in a room with a lot of rocket skates right now as this argument is happening. And I think that what happens is that Bendy is looking at one of the rocket skates, and he is examining it, and he accidentally activates it, and it just, pegs DMAC. But that is enough of a distraction, I think, that it sort of breaks the tension between DMAC and Inez.
Knocks my mouth off the gun.
Yeah. Well, I think that what happened, it's in your mouth, and then she pushes you back against the wall, right? And then it's the whole speech, and then she's like, secrets, and then shoo, heads, doomph, and then Inez just looks at you and then just laughs, puts her gun away, and picks you up, and she says, "I'll be on board shortly, DMAC." Pats you on the face. No, it's a 7, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 7. So DMAC, you have a choice here. When as a crew member on a 7 to 9, you can choose. You can offer Inez an XP to do what you want, or you can threaten Inez that if she doesn't do what you want, they tighten your chain.
Oh, this is all about tightening the chain.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
but then she doesn't. Yeah, so if you tighten the chain, that means you're not doing.
Sorry. So, right. I beg your pardon. I misunderstood. So they'll do what you want with conditions. Oh, hang on. I'm lost.
Yeah. So basically, if you say, after we laugh and everything, and you just go please, then Inez will do it, and I'll mark experience, right? If you carry on high roading it, then and Ned spits on you are chain titans, and I just go out
Are
the
we
wrong
looking
way.
at the same move? I threatened.
You are. So you actually need to go down a little bit because it says when it's a crew member on a 7 to 9, choose one. So fast talk, it's down on rows 26 through 29. See that?
But I didn't fast talk. I threatened.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm a doof.
So there is no reward for me to get the experience. Actually, is there?
I am
Just-
so sorry for that. Sorry.
They'll do what you want with. So choose one. Do what you want with conditions. Do what you want, but fight and kick and scream. That sounds.
I think we've already done it. We've already done it.
Yeah,
That's fine.
We've got it.
Yeah,
we got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But if I threaten a fellow crew member, they can choose to tighten your shared chain.
Yeah, God, yeah. Of course
regardless
it
of
does.
outcome.
It's not Slack anymore.
No.
You've literally threatened to
Out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I've got secrets of my own, of yours, right? So okay.
So
that changes
what we
to
do now-
taught, I believe.
Slack to taut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the value stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've got hot chains with everybody if I look at it now, actually.
You're very hot-blooded. You're very emotional. This means a lot to you. Cool. So here's what we do. I'm looking at time. And so I think what we do is you guys will pick up with you going on this mission, but you all eventually come back. Talon, maybe you're the last one. So you see who it is. She's already on board, seated, has put away her stuff. And do you know Neb 6? Does Talon know Neb 6? I think so. Yes. It's Nebula.
Yeah, he was
6.
there during her breakout. Yeah,
He was
or
during her
he was there
breakout.
when he broke her out of jail, man.
Yeah, he broke her out of jail. So you all have taken on the passenger of Nebula 6.
Oh, Dempsey, we're escorting her.
Yes, you are ferrying her to Arda 2.
Woohoo!
So yeah, it's a thing where you're on this ship?
Nebsix!
She gets up and gives Talon a big hug and yeah.
And I think DMAC kind of looks at the camera and it's kind of, oh shit.
Yep. So that's where I think things will, unless we're good to end there, and then we'll pick up with you guys flying spans and doing all that fun stuff.
I slapped together a custom move for betting at the races, which I can pitch to you now, or I'll send it to you for next week. It'll be cool to have for posterity if we come back.
That sounds fun. Yeah, we'll take a look at it the intervening week, and hopefully when you guys get back, if you all get back, we will play with it. That sounds really fun. Awesome. So let's transition to end of session. So there are some end of session questions we get to ask. We're going to start from the left-hand side. It's at the end of a job. You know what? It's assuming that you do a job in a session. So let's go ahead and do it. So end of session question. So DMAC, did you address a challenge with charm, diplomacy, or deception?
Deception in the case of getting the job.
Yeah, you got a job, but you also kind of upgraded it. And I think you fast talked. And so I would say yes for that. So you can check that box. One of your chains went to slack to choking or choking to slack.
No.
Right. That one's a hard
Yet.
one. You made a room's personality felt. We didn't do anything on the ship. I'll take the hit on that one. I apologize. We'll definitely. You made a decision for the whole crew with or without their input.
I think I did make a decision for them in terms of, of the nature of the deal, the nature of the job.
Yep. So then you earned 2 XP for this session.
Thank you.
One of the questions is a little bit different for each playbook. So, Talon, did you address the challenge with daring, talent, or wits?
I did not.
Yeah. I didn't give you much opportunity, and I apologize for that.
Not. Unless we retroactively later roll this.
Do the
move.
betting? Yeah, we
Do the
may.
betting move.
We may lead off with that
Mhm.
before you leave.
Yeah,
That's fine. One of your chains went to slack to choking to slack. No, that didn't happen. Room's personality, again, didn't happen. Made a decision for the whole crew with or without their input. Okay. All right.
The whole trip to the games.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Take it. That's
that,
good.
yeah.
I'm
Cool.
into it.
Yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. I walked in and went, we're all go to the races.
Off to the
Good.
races.
Good suggestion. Thank you for that. Then Bendy, you address the challenge of wit's creativity or by making something.
Uh,
I think the rocket escape business was kind of
I
fun.
think it's creative. Certainly.
Yeah, I'm into it. Change slack the choking to slack. That didn't happen. Room's personality didn't happen. Made a decision for the whole crew with or without their input.
I don't think anyone had an input on all those air fresheners.
Then that is in there. Go ahead. That's
I
two
like the idea
XP.
that they're Ithorian pine trees, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's something
it's
really
the silhouette of
nasty.
a pine tree. It's the silhouette of an Iturian, whatever flora is. I don't know.
it's pine with a Y.
Yes. Yeah.
And last but not least, Inez, address the challenge of wit's deception or violence. Yeah.
Yes. Change didn't go
changed
move.
room.
It
Made a
didn't make a
decision for the whole
room.
crew. Yeah, tell me about that
Yes.
one.
The fuel.
There you go. Yeah.
Asked,
like
and I said, no, I don't want to buy more fuel. And yeah, we went with that decision.
All right. So that ends up the mechanical part. Let's quickly transition to some wishes and some stars. We start with wishes so that we can end with stars. Who would like to be the first to give some wishes?
I'll start because I have none. I simply, I just want to see this run. Just, unleash the dogs of war.
Sounds good.
I have a wish. I have a move where I get to do a getaway. So I'd like to see a getaway so I can engage that move.
I just want to note this. You guys all heard that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys are already putting guns in each other's mouths, so I'm glad there's.
I know. It's guns and mouths. This is a lot. Cool. Thank you, Cisco. Any more wishes for Cisco?
No, thank you, Rich.
All right, Josh or Will, who'd like to go next?
I'd just like to repeat Alan's thing and say that I'm really interested in seeing how Rustux plays. I at some point want to for the authority, the empire, right? We'll have to have some imperial entanglements. I'm sure that'll definitely.
That's what this whole mission's about.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Same. I'm not. There are no plot points that I want to push forward, but my one wish is that I would love an opportunity to use my Junkers kit.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's cool.
Oh, I mean, I didn't say it because it seems part of the Rusthook play stuff, but I'm looking forward to the shenanigans en route. Find a derelict ship, because just Rusthooks is scrapping and in between jobs as well, right? So I totally want to see that kind of. Yeah.
We will play to find out.
We will. It's going to be awesome. Good. Josh, you went last for wishes. You could go first for stars. Do you have any highlights or particular player choices or moments you wanted to throw out there?
I mean, it's such wonderful characters, right? It's such wonderful characters. Sometimes you spend a whole session doing character creation and you don't even realize it because we've just created this incredible cast of new and imported people, and I mean really just stars all around because I'm very, very excited to get to know these people over the next few sessions.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Will, do you have any stars?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the power play between DMAC, and I'm glad that we all have stars for us going on some dramatic character associations and that tension. And yeah, I really enjoyed making the ship and coming up with the places. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Cisco, any stars?
Stars all around. I'll echo Josh. I'll echo Josh and say that these characters are super cool, and especially stars for Will and Alan for leaning into the conflict there. That makes it immediately interesting.
I wouldn't have shot him.
Yeah, but you didn't shoot him. That's right. And you guys, you can tell that you guys have played before, which is really cool. Excited to see more of that. And Rich, I'm gonna give you a star for porting all these cool NPCs, man. It looks like you did a good job, like picking the real interesting ones. So thanks for that.
Oh, thank you. Last but not least, Alan, any stars stand out?
Yeah, stars to you, because I think this is quite a complicated game, and I think you did a good job today of walking us through it. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Josh, air fresheners. I'm going to say,
so good.
Will, it is the voice, the accent, this great. And Cisco, you are playing a pilot, but now we really know that you still want to be some kind of promoter in entertainment. The piloting thing you have to live with, but that's not where your heart is. I love that.
That is great.
I'm surprised you didn't suggest some kind of piped music on the ship. That's but those are mine.
Awesome. I am really looking forward to, like, there's part of me this one we didn't do the flight, but we had so much fun. I've really enjoyed these characters and the slack and choking questions you guys chose, and the little side stories to justify why those are at those points was great. I took a page full of notes, and that's a lot for me. Like for Will, a page is nothing. By the way, share us if you're noting this, Will, I would love for you to link that in.
It's in the dice roller page.
It's already in the dice roller page?
Yeah, I didn't quite get as much detail about everyone's things I would have liked, because I was too busy reading through Russ Talks the book and going like, oh, that's how that works, kind of thing. But do feel free to edit it as you wish, guys.
Thank you very much. Great work, everybody. We've got 3 full sessions of this where we don't have to do any of the build up. We're just going to break stuff down and try to build back better or something. Thank you all. I really appreciate this. Have a good evening, my friends across the pond, and a good afternoon, everybody else.